On today's episode, I have 7 Pottery Barn dupes for you. The first one is this rattan or wicker side table. Pottery Barn has this look that they're doing right now with the black, and then they have that natural tone caning, and I want to get that same look for that piece of furniture that I found secondhand. Next, another thing that Pottery Barn and tons of other high-end furniture places are known for is their pottery, obviously Pottery Barn, but it's really pricey, and so I will show you how to get that look for less. Next, I'm going to show you how I turned that bench into Pottery Barn pillow cover inspired beautiful bench. And then after that, I'm going to show you how I turned this very outdated and a little bit gaudy lamp into something gorgeous and more modern. It's going to look amazing. Trust me, this one really blew my mind. I mean, $800, I got mine for way less than that. These beautiful 3-tiered candlesticks were just begging for a modern makeover. The bones were there, and I got them at a bargain at a thrift store. The ones I was inspired by at Pottery Barn came in a tall version and a short version, and I feel like mine was kind of a mix of both of those styles. Next, something that really blew my mind was this seashell hack. Everybody has seashells hanging around, but Pottery Barn makes theirs look beautiful and modern, and I did so with pennies on the dollar. The last thing I do is this Easter basket makeover into a beautiful piece of wall art that anybody can do if you have an extra 5 minutes of time. Like you saw in the preview, the first piece that we're going to be flipping or duping today is this side table. The first thing that we had to do was sand it. My husband sanded it for me while I was inside taking care of the kiddos. I am so thankful to have his help, and he is around a lot more often lately, and I'll tell you why later. But I wanted to dupe this nightstand that Pottery Barn makes, and there's a ton of other high-end furniture companies that are doing that look with the black and then the wicker or rattan, or even doing that caning in a natural color. And I already had perfect condition wicker on this, but the rest of it needed some sprucing up, and I thought that made it a really great candidate for trying this black on wicker look I've been dying to try. I'd say also in general, I've been really excited to try painting some pieces black. It seems right now that the trends are moving more towards painting everything black, and it was like so funny a couple years ago with the farmhouse craze. Everybody painted everything white, and now it seems it's going the complete opposite direction. And I think that it's fun to try all different trends, and I have no problem with either of them. I think that it's always fun to play around with what you own and to keep reinventing the things that you have to help keep it in style with your taste as your taste changes. I'm painting this piece in the color called Caviar by Dixie Belle. I only needed the smallest container for it, which I believe was around $10, but it gets extremely good coverage, and I only used half of it to do this project for this side table. I did 2 coats of the black, and then later I will show you what I seal it with. I'm going to actually use a wax this time, which I don't do very often, and I'll explain all of that later when we get to that part. The paintbrush that I'm using is one of my favorite ones to use. It is a square angled brush by Zebra, which they sell at most hardware stores. And I also will have that and everything else that you'll need to recreate this in my Amazon store, everything that I can find for you. So if you wanted to try any of this at home, I have my Amazon store linked in the description box down below for you if you need it. I let that dry for a whole day, and then when the next day came, it was time to flip it right side up and paint the rest of it. I considered changing the hardware on this, but it had a really weird hardware on there. It was attached with what looked like the back of those brads that you use like in a notebook, and I didn't want to mess with that and have anything break, so I decided to keep it on there. I thought it looked really great anyways. It's a very modern looking handle. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to use Fusion Mineral Paint in the color Woodwick, and only a tiny bit of paint like I showed you. Add a little bit of water on there, and I'm just going to do a little bit of a paint wash to the wicker that is on here because it is pretty orange. I don't want to get the wood to look too cool toned, but I do think that it's a little bit too orange for the look that I'm going for with that Pottery Barn look, and I think that adding a little bit of a cool tone wash to it will do the trick. Now that my 2 coats of paint are dry, I'm going to seal it using Annie Sloan's soft wax in the dark wax. I think it comes in clear and maybe white as well, but look right here. You see that handprint I just put on there? I was wearing gloves, and the gloves that I had on had powder inside, and I always forget that. And so I got powder on there. I tried wiping it off with just my hand, but I wasn't too worried about it because I knew that this dark wax was gonna hide any blemishes that I had just created with that darn glove powder. It went away like it had never happened. Thankfully, I didn't have to have any other issues or recoat in black paint. I used a big fluffy round brush to apply this because I like that the round brushes get the job done really quickly. The thicker the brush is, the faster it applies your paint or your wax, so it made quick work of sealing this piece up. I didn't have to go outside and paint it with a sprayer or anything like that, but I will tell you that this wax does have a smell to it. I believe it's oil-based, so it does have quite a stink to it. When you use it indoors, open a window. I had my window open and my fans going in here, so that way I didn't have any issues with breathing in that smell, although I did get a little bit of a sore throat later on in the day. So I just want to let you guys know that to make sure that you know that it does have that smell. But it works so well. Oftentimes when you're sealing black paint, a polyurethane will look streaky over the black. So dark wax will give you the most beautiful look as long as it's a piece that's not super high traffic. The reveal for all of these pieces is going to be at the end of the video, so be sure to stick through to all of them and see them all together at the very end of the video. The next thing I'm going to work on are these plastic bowls. The brand of them was called Texas Ware, which I thought was adorable. I'm going to be putting them together and then giving them a fake stone treatment. I love how this turned out. I think you might be familiar with this technique, but here's my look-alike that I'm trying to achieve. It's not going to be exactly the same, obviously, but I think that mine turned out pretty great. They had another version that I thought you could maybe even recreate using paper towel rolls or toilet paper rolls, but this one I'm going to do because I think that it was more classic. I'm not a super modern decorator, so the other one was a little bit more modern than what I would decorate with. I glued it with hot glue and E6000, and then I flipped it over. I definitely wouldn't do anything aggressive with it while it's drying. That E6000 takes a little while to dry. So just be careful as you're painting because you don't want to bump it and mess it all up. I'm going to use some ink colored chalk paint. I've had this chalk paint for so long and not used it, so it's like kind of dried up and thick. It didn't even want to come out of the container. I had to take it to the bathroom and get a splash of water in there so that I could even pour it out. But it kind of was a blessing in disguise because the thicker the chalk paint is, the more it's going to look like stone. So it really worked out for the projects that I'm doing in this video. And I reused this paint for a lot of the projects in this video. I put a handful of baking soda in there to make it look even more stone-like and get more texture. It also makes it grip onto what you're painting even better, just like how chalk paint is in general. And I used a popsicle stick to mix it around in there. Another great part is that you don't have to have it perfect. You can add more or less and keep balancing your paint to baking soda like ratio. And baking soda is really cheap at Costco, and you can buy it in bulk, I think for like $7 or $8. But I used a big wide brush again because those bigger brushes get the job done much more quickly. But look at the coverage it's getting. It kind of looks like a black hole right now. Like I painted an abyss into that bowl. That's how dark it turned out, and it looks gorgeous. It did dry a little bit lighter, but that's okay because the dupe that we're trying to copy was a little bit lighter, had a little bit of different tones of black and gray in it. After doing 2 full coats of paint on this, I just let it dry, and you'll see the reveal later at the end. The next piece I'm working on is this bench. It is actually an Ikea bench, but I think I paid like $6 for it, thrifted, and it looks a little bit beat up. I'm not sure if it like was supposed to look beat up when they first made it, or if this is just wear and tear. Either way, it looked good. I mean, the look of it looks like intentionally beat up. But I wanted to upholster the top. If you've been watching my channel for a long time, you know that I love upholstering anything and everything that I can. As long as I can do it easily with a staple gun, of course. And if you are new to my channel, hello and welcome, and I would love it if you would hit that subscribe button. If you like thrifting, if you like dupes, if you like making things over or trash to treasures or decorating or redoing rooms, then you're going to love this channel. The fabric that I chose for upholstering this bench is inspired by that pillow cover right there, although they did have this one and another one that I thought were pretty similar in style, so you can kind of get the idea I'm going for, a little bit boho modern. I'm going to use 1-inch foam that I got from Walmart. I'm only using about half a roll, so I'm only in this for about $20 to $25, I think, at the end, like out the door, done. Not bad at all. That's still half the price of what just one pillow cover was at Pottery Barn, so already a super great deal. I did double up the foam on here because I wanted it to be more comfortable. If you are on a tighter budget, you can always do just that one layer. It still is going to be comfortable enough. I just felt like, for me personally, I wanted 2 layers, and it just so happened that the line that I cut was right down the center, so they were both the exact same size. Now I'm going to use this polyfill quilt batting. This stuff is really cheap too. I can't remember off the top of my head, but definitely less than 20 bucks, probably around $10. And I barely used any of it for this project. That roll that is in that small bag will last me for probably 4 or 5 upholstery projects. I just put it over the padding, and then I cut out the size that I think I'm going to need. The reason you have to use quilt batting over your foam is because it disguises the like jagged edges of the padding that we cut out. It makes everything smooth and holds the padding together while you're upholstering it with the fabric. I use my battery-powered Milwaukee staple gun that my husband bought me as a gift years ago, and I love this thing. I hardly ever charge it. I think I've only had to recharge the battery 1 time, and I use this quite a bit on my channel, so it just lasts forever, which I love because I hate having to charge stuff. And if you are interested in it, I'll link it in my Amazon store down below. And I believe Home Depot sells the Milwaukee brand. So if you want to buy it in person, like say you get a discount because you're military or something like that, you can get a discount if you buy it in person at Home Depot. And I swear I love this staple gun so much. The fabric that I got for this project was from Hobby Lobby, and I got it when they were having their 40% off all fabric sale, so it was dirt cheap, and it's actual upholstery fabric, thick, amazing quality upholstery fabric. It's like a rug, but fabric, and I think I saw it, and I knew that I was going to love it on something, and I had no idea what that something was going to end up being, but once I saw this bench in the thrift store, and then I saw those pillow covers on Pottery Barn, I thought that is finally what I'm going to use that fabric for. It's going to look amazing and have this boho Pendleton fabric style look going for it. It wouldn't be a desert DIY upholstery makeover without adding trim to it, would it? I couldn't help myself. I had to add trim on here. I used this Bonder fabric hot glue to do my trims on my fabric, and this stuff is extremely durable. I tested it out recently by trying to actually pull off trim that I had glued onto something else, and I couldn't get it off. I mean it. I could not rip it off. It would only budge a little bit, and then I'd be trying to pull and pull and pull. Eventually, it was just tearing the two pieces apart. It really works. It holds that stuff on there like there is no tomorrow. So I vouch for this. I promise you it's going to work really well and it will hold up for years. The trim that I'm using I got from Hobby Lobby, and I got these glue sticks from Hobby Lobby too, but I have some linked in my Amazon store as well. I am so excited for you to get to see everything all staged together at the end. It all turns out so good. But the next thing I'm working on is actually my favorite project in this whole video. I did not know going into this that this lamp was going to end up blowing my mind the way that it did and looking as gorgeous as it does later. But it was kind of outdated, you know, it had that faux antique French look, and I saw on Pottery Barn's website that they had this beautiful black lamp with a sort of off-white tan shade, and I thought I want to recreate that, but I didn't have a lamp that was that exact shape, and I had this lamp that I had gotten in my mystery haul. If you guys hadn't seen that yet, I had a big mystery haul of a bunch of stuff, and this was in one of the boxes. I don't even think I showed it in the video. I think it was in a different box that I forgot about and didn't show, but it was just packed with a bunch of other random things, some garbage, some not, and I questioned whether or not it would turn out as good as the Pottery Barn lamp does, but it really, in my opinion, looks better than the Pottery Barn lamp. It has so much more character, and the shape of it when it's painted all black is absolutely stunning. You can see a lot more of the details of the shape to it. It looks really stately and classic, and I feel like it's just never going to go out of style now. You probably already noticed, but I did use the same exact paint mixture as I did on the other projects before, and I'm going to seal it just like I did before with that soft wax. You can see there's some spots where the paint didn't fully cover. I did like 1.5 coats, but I knew that this wax was going to cover any of those spots where it was a little more translucent, and it did. It worked so well, and then the shine that the wax gave to it, it was like a matte finish, but I don't know how to explain. It's like butter. It's like cashmere. This thing looks insanely beautiful. It looks beautiful on camera, but in person it's like just wow, drop dead gorgeous. I had to change up the gold here, so I'm using some rub and buff. I felt like the brass that was on the socket part was just too shiny. It needed to be mattified a little bit to go with the rest of the piece. So quick and easy, just put a little bit of rub and buff on there. The lampshade I got was $9.99. This is the cheapest lampshade they have at the at-home store in this size. And it just so happened to be the perfect color to go with my dupe that I was trying to do. I didn't want to do white, of course, because that would have looked too stark against the black. So you definitely want to get something that has a little bit of color to it or a little bit of texture to it too. Look at how amazing they look together. I can't wait to show you it later. It turns out so gorgeous on top of that table. And by the way, this was the first time I tested if it worked. Next, I'm working on these 3 candlesticks. They were already in great shape. I cleaned them up, and I mean, they could have been fine as is, depending on your decor. I feel like this style looks a little more modern with it being pure black, so I wanted to push them a little bit more modern than they were before. So I'm using that same paint mixture again. I'm really trying to make the most of my dollars here for this dupe, so that way you can see how you can batch projects together to help make your different paints or supplies go a long way and stretch your dollar as well. Another great thing about reusing the same paint for a bunch of different projects is that it helps you to create a real collection of things that may have never looked good together. Like imagine that lamp with these right now. They never would have looked like they went together, but when you see it staged later at the end of the video, you're going to think, wow, all of that really goes together. It looks like I bought it all from the same section of Pottery Barn and decorated my room with it. And I think that that can happen with anything in your home. If you paint things all the same color or do the same tone or something like that, to where you're making things that don't match become a matching set, like maybe painting 2 mixed matched side tables in the same color, it suddenly becomes a set. And now I'm going to use that same sealing technique. I want them all to look very similar so that it does look like, for one, I got them from Pottery Barn, and two, that they are a set, that it was intentional, that all of these different pieces were bought together or collected together to create a look in your house that you love. Now, something different that I did with these was I added these coasters. They're made of marble. I got them from Home Goods for $7.99. I thought that adding stones somewhere into this Pottery Barn dupe collection was really important because Pottery Barn does use tons of natural stone stuff. So here's where I'm adding my natural stone in. I'm using my Starbond super glue instead of using hot glue because I already unplugged my hot glue gun, and plus the super glue is a lot stronger than hot glue and probably faster than hot glue as well. That spray accelerator makes it dry almost instantly, so I can just put the glue on after the accelerator and sit those little coasters on top and it'll immediately be locked on there. I'll have their glue linked down below. I've been using Starbond glue for like 3 years now, and it's my favorite super glue by far because of the fact that it has that accelerator to make that glue dry so much faster. I still added E6000 in there as well because I feel like it's good to have that extra strong glue in there just in case one of the two glues fails. It always has a backup in there, and it doesn't hurt to add more glue. With these marble coasters on there, I feel like it adds a little bit more character. It's still modern, and now you can maybe even set like little pumpkins on there for fall or little Christmas decorations or whatever huge candles you want to put on there now. Anything will fit on there. But the next thing I want to show you is the seashell. This was the most surprising of all the things that I did today in this video. The original one was on clearance at Pottery Barn for $68.99, so $69, and it was gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous, but it wasn't a real seashell. And the one that I'm doing is a real seashell that I got thrifted, and I have a whole set of them that I got for super duper cheap. And I thought, well, it wouldn't hurt to just paint one of them. I hate painting natural things in a color because I feel like the way they are naturally is so beautiful. But I really wanted to try this. There's these random things that I see that I just think I have to try that. I have to see if that will look good in person. And this was one of those things. So I used that same paint mixture again. I'm like a broken record here with that paint mixture, but they all turn out so different in their own ways, even though it's the same paint. And this one I actually do a different paint technique on it in a little bit here. After I get 2 coats of the black paint on here, or like 1.5 coats, I definitely sealed it again with the wax just because this was a type of paint that is not sealed already, so chalk paint needs to be sealed. But the next thing that I did on here was I added the liquid leaf. This I got from Hobby Lobby, and it's way different than any other metallic I've ever used, and I really like how it looks. Look at it in there, wow. Just looking at it in the bottle is amazing. But I'm going to use a flicking technique on my paintbrush. I tested it out on the paper before trying it on the actual seashell. And I just lightly flicked the gold on there because the original one from Pottery Barn had a little bit of like a silvery metallic on it, or like a grayish color. But I thought that this would look better for the style I was going for with the boho, adding some gold to kind of bring in the brass look, since brass goes really well with boho. And the paint blotches on here looked stunning. It really elevated the flat black look of it and made it look so unique, and the way that I stage it later makes it stand out even more. And it's going to be one of those things where people see it and they're like, wow, that's really cool, where did you get that? And I accidentally touched it with my glove on the bottom there. So then I thought, okay, I'm going to have to make this happy accident look intentional. And I patted my glove on different parts of the seashell to make it look like I meant to do that. And it turns out, like always, Bob Ross was right. Happy accidents are great, and it looks even better with the bigger spots on there. The last project I'm going to show you before I show you everything all staged is this broken Easter basket. I actually got this from the Goodwill bins, and I'm going to show you everything I got from that Goodwill bins trip in my next video, so make sure that you hit the notification bell to see that one, because that was my first time ever going to the bins, and I got a full cart plus some from the bins that I went to. But I just cut off that broken handle, and then my husband came out and he spray painted the basket for me. This was the only black spray paint we had at the time, so he used that because he was actually spray painting another project for me that I'll show you down the road a little while. But wall baskets in general are something that you can dupe for so much cheaper than what the high-end designer stores are asking for. And I thought that the one at Pottery Barn was pretty, but the one that we ended up creating was really just down to earth and earthy in general. I feel like it went really well with the boho modern look that I was going for with everything that we're going to stage at the end of the video. But earlier I had told you that my husband is going to be around a lot more, and that I would let you know why later on in the video. So we have had some major changes come up for our family, and this was something that we had actually been planning to do for a very long time. So my husband quit working and is going to college full time now. He's going to college for computer science, and it's just something that we decided that was important to do. My husband and I are veterans, and so he is finally getting to use his veterans benefits for his GI Bill to go to college. And so while he's going to college, we are going to be working on getting out tons more content here on YouTube as our job together. So now we are working together like for real. He always helped me, always. But now he's going to be doing a lot more with me on my videos, and we're both really excited about it. In fact, the next big announcement, I'm going to be opening my own spot at a boutique. So I will be telling you more about that in upcoming videos. But get ready, because you're about to see everything all staged together. It looks so good. I am really proud of us for all the beautiful stuff that we created and all the money that we saved. I am always about saving money. Look at how beautiful that basket looks on the wall. Look at how beautiful that lamp turned out. Look at that seashell. It looks so modern and amazing. Those books I got for 50 cents a piece at the Goodwill bins. And that table now is a stunner. You would never know what was under there. When it was all that orangey wood tone, you couldn't see that beautiful wicker standing out. Now with that seashell, with the little bit of metallic on there and in the black color, you can really see all the parts of it that make it so unique. I thought that painting it was going to take away the natural uniqueness that the seashell had, but now it looks gorgeous. It's like it's a conversation piece. The lamp has a sheen to it that I can't even put into words. It looks so beautiful, and then the texture of that $9.99 lampshade makes it look even better. I have no words. The lamp and the seashell were my favorite of this video. So once you get done seeing the full reveal, comment down below in the comment section and let me know which piece was your favorite from this entire dupe video. I'm really excited to see what you guys say. Plus, it kind of helps me to gauge what you're interested in, what you like, what you might want to see in the future, what you may not want to see in the future. So those comments really do help with making sure that our channel is something that you guys are enjoying as well. The basket, I think, looks so good. Just the spray paint made this basket look really high-end and modern. The bench, though, wow, that fabric is just the coolest. I don't have words anymore. I've ran out of words after this whole video, but all together, all this stuff looks so good. You can see really how tall those candlesticks are now and how expensive that would have been to buy from Pottery Barn, getting huge candlesticks like that. And the trim on the bottom of the bench gives it the perfect boho look. I think it finishes it off so well and makes it look much more professional and gives it a little more character. The marble on top of these candlesticks is the icing on top of the cake. It makes it look a little bit more high-end, a little more expensive in the best ways. and then putting it all together, that bowl with the little greenery in there, the brown ball that's in there I also got from the bins, and then that pillow cover is from Amazon. That was super cheap. I think it was like $10 for a pack of 4. I'll try and link that as well. But look at how pretty everything looks together. I'm so proud of all these pieces, and thank you so much for watching. If you liked what you saw today, don't forget to hit subscribe, and I will see you next time. Bye!